Students, now our next topic in the Huygens chapter is the proof of Snell's law of refraction for wavefronts and using Huygens wave theory. Okay, so for wavefronts we have to prove the Snell's law of refraction, that means sin I upon sin r equal to mu. So what we need to take here, we will be drawing a diagram in which we will take rarer medium and denser medium. So let us draw a separation line of two mediums like this. So this side, this complete medium is rarer medium, and this side, this complete medium is denser medium, and this is the separation line of two mediums. Now what we have to do, we want to prove the Snell's law for wavefronts. So initially we will take a plane wavefront incident on this separation line. So this is our plane wavefront. Okay, this is our plane wavefront which is incident on the surface, on the separation line of two medium. Now next step is that whenever wavefront we are making incident, so next step will be always to draw rays with the help of incident wavefront. So the relation between rays and wavefront is that they are 90 degree. They are at 90 degree. So we will draw two rays. So first ray and second ray. Okay, so first ray is drawn at point A and second ray is drawn at point B, suppose. Okay, so A and B are 2 points where we have drawn the two rays. Now you can see that this wavefront is touching directly the separation line at point A. So as soon as the ray will come, it will get refracted. But the ray from B point will take some time to move in the rarer medium, and then it will fall on the separation line. Then refraction will take place. So now how the refraction takes place, for that we know that when the light comes from rarer to denser medium, then it turns towards the normal. So we have to show two normals here. So normal 1 and normal 2 that are drawn. Now what should be the path of refracted rays now? Third step, refracted rays. So we know that original path is this of the ray coming, but because we are coming from rarer to denser medium, so this ray should turn towards the normal. So we have to show turning towards the normal. Okay, so we have got here two rays. Okay, so ray number 1 is this, ray number 2 is this. This way we have got two rays. These two rays were parallel in the rarer medium also, and after getting refracted they will bend by same angle. So they will be still parallel with respect to each other. Okay, this diagram we have drawn till third step. Now refracted rays we have got. These are two refracted rays. Now using the refracted rays, we have to draw refracted wavefront. So we know that refracted wavefront will be perpendicular to refracted rays. So what we have to do here, from here we have to draw a normal cutting both the lines. Okay, so this is first line and this is second line. So this way we will cut the two lines perpendicularly, and where it is cutting, that is suppose D point here and this is the C point here. So this is our required refracted wavefront. Okay, so what is the property of this D point? That means how we can get this D point. So what is the property? So for that we will use the Huygens principle. Okay, so we know that our incident wavefront is this primary wavefront. Now each point of primary wavefront, that means A and B, is the source of secondary wavelets. So secondary wavelets are drawn this way, and this way the arcs are drawn, and then one envelope is drawn to cut these secondary wavelets. So that is our required secondary wavefront, means refracted wavefront. So what is the property of this D, where it should be? So for that we will use this property. So whatever time is taken by the light to reach from B to C point, same time should be taken by the light to reach from A to D point, if they are corresponding points. That means points corresponding to AB of the primary wavefront are DC on the secondary wavefront. So these are corresponding points. Okay, this way it is. You can see in this diagram, when the wavefront was falling on it, then at A it was touching the separation line first, So it got started, the ray got started first from A, but the ray from B, it took some time to reach at the separation line, and then it got refracted. So by the time A has already traveled some distance D, okay, so till that time B was only reaching till C point. So this way BC are corresponding points and AD are also corresponding points. Now we know that time taken by the light ray to reach from B to C point and time taken by the light ray to reach from A to D points should be same. So let us take this time as T. Both the times are T. Now we will calculate the BC distance, BC. So we know that distance is equal to speed into time. So here the light's speed is C and time taken is T. Okay, now come to the denser medium side. Light here is traveling in the denser medium A to D. So if we want to find out the AD distance, distance is speed into time. Now what is the speed? Will it be still C here? No. The light's speed in some denser medium we will always call V. So here the light's speed is C and here the light's speed is V. This we already know. Okay. So BC and AD distances we have already calculated. Now let us come to the proof of Snell's law. We have completed the diagram part. Now how to do the proof? So for the proof, we know that we have to prove sin I upon sin R. We have to start with sin I upon sin R value. So where is I and R? So as you know already, incident wavefront's angle with respect to this separation line is called I, and refracted wavefront's angle with respect to this separation line is called R, refraction angle. Okay, so angle I is here, angle R is here. Now we need to find these sin I and sin R from these triangles. So first of all, where is 90? So this point is 90 because wavefront and ray are always at 90. Here also this angle is 90. Now in this triangle, this upper triangle, we have to calculate sin I. So first of all, with whichever side the angle is made, that is base, this is perpendicular and 90 के सामने वाला होता है hypotenuse. So sin I का formula हुआ perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So perpendicular is BC and hypotenuse is AC. So we have calculated sin I. Now let us come to sin R calculation. Sin R, 90 के सामने वाला hypotenuse, एंगल R के साथ वाला बेस और एंगल के सामने वाला परपेंडिकुलर. This way sin R will be calculated. So sin R is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Perpendicular is AD and base and hypotenuse is AC. So this way we have written the values of sin I and sin R. Now you can see that AC and AC are cancelling. What is left? That is BC and AD. And BC and AD values are already we have obtained CT and VT. C into T, V into T. T is cancelling. What is left? C by V. Now C by V we have got. So you can see C means speed of light in first medium. V means speed of light in second medium. And we know that speed of light in first medium upon speed of light in second medium is called mu, refractive index. So this way we have proved that sin I upon sin R is equal to mu. So this is the proof of Snell's law of refraction. Okay. With this Snell's law, that means law of refraction first, you have to discuss about the second law of refraction also. As we say about the ray, that incident ray, refracted ray and normal, all the three lie in the same plane. In the same manner, we have to talk about the wavefronts also. So we know that incident wavefront is a plane wavefront. Okay, incident wavefront, refracted wavefront and reflecting surface, all are perpendicular to plane of board. So that means all lie in the same plane. Okay, so this is the second law of refractions statement. So this way, if we write this statement, then our proof of law of refractions is completed. Okay, note down. Now our last heading related to the Huygens chapter is that we have to make incident one plane wavefront on the prism, lens or mirror and we have to show that what will be the emergent wavefront. Okay, so the heading is behavior of the prism, lens and mirror for incident plane wavefront. So what will happen? Let us see. We are drawing our first diagram for the prism. Suppose this is our plane wavefront which is incident on the prism. Okay, this is our plane wavefront. Now, as we know that from this incident plane wavefront, first of all we have to make incident some rays. So how the rays are related to this wavefront? They are normal to this wavefront. Okay, so what we have done, we have drawn three rays which are normals drawn to this wavefront. This red color is the wavefront, incident wavefront, and these black color ones are three incident rays. Now what will happen? We will extend these rays for the prism. So these rays are extended. Okay, now we know that what happens when the ray falls on the prism. So according to the rule, we are going from air into the glass. So the rays will turn their path. Refraction will take place, like I'll show you for one such ray. Suppose this is the normal drawn. So what will happen? The ray should go originally this way, but it will turn towards the normal. You can see this ray originally should go this way, but because we are going from air to glass, that means rarer medium to denser medium, so it should turn little closer to the normal. So that's why it has turned. So this way the ray will turn. It will go straight till the time single medium is going on. Again, when we are following it on the separation line of prism and air, so again now we are going from denser medium to rarer medium. So it will turn, its original path is this, but it will turn away from the normal. So we will get this way the ray. So you have seen that what is the path of the ray. This we have discussed already in the prism also, refraction through prism. So when a single ray comes, it gets bent once and second, twice. So for each of the ray the same thing will happen. For this ray also same thing will happen. So what will happen? These three rays which we have obtained, while coming out of the prism also they are parallel. So earlier also they were parallel and same angle bending took place. So now also they are parallel. We will extend these rays. How to get the emergent wavefront? So these are the emergent rays. So we know that ray and wavefront are perpendicular to each other. So if we draw a line intersecting them normally, this is the emergent wavefront position. Okay, emergent. So this red color was our incident wavefront, and the one which we have got out, that is our emergent wavefront. So there is no change in the shape or type of the wavefront. Earlier also it was plane wavefront, and now also we are getting the plane wavefront. So prism doesn't make any change in the wavefront type. This emergent wavefront is plane wavefront. Okay, now let us see it for the lens. So suppose we are firstly taking the convex lens. Okay, this way convex lens is taken. Now we have to make incident one plane wavefront on it. So making incident one plane wavefront doesn't mean that it should touch. So this is our plane wavefront which is incident on it. So this is our incident wavefront. We can call it incident wavefront. Now we know that the second step is rays. We will draw rays. So rays are normal to the wavefront. So first ray, second ray and third ray. Three rays we will draw. Now because we have taken convex lens is converging lens. So when the rays will come, after that they will converge. Or you can say that the ray which is parallel to principal axis, it passes through focus. So suppose here somewhere the focus is, so the ray which is through optical center, this is optical center, it will go unbent, and then this ray also will pass through focus. So here we will get the emergent rays. Okay, all the three rays are emergent rays which are coming here. Now you know how to get the emergent wavefront now. ये तो आ गई हमारी refracted या emergent rays, refracted or emergent rays. Now we have to draw the emergent wave front. So how to get it? So we know कैसे बनाना है wave front. ये हमारा हुआ पॉइंट सोर्स, ओके, जहां से रेज एमर्ज हो रही है. तो ये पॉइंट सोर्स है. पॉइंट सोर्स से कैसा वेव फ्रंट बनता है? तो वेव फ्रंट का मीनिंग होता है लोकस ऑफ ऑल दैट पॉइंट्स विच आर इन फेस. सो पॉइंट सोर्स के लिए वो सारे पॉइंट्स जो इक्वल डिस्टेंस पर हैं वो इन फेज होंगे. तो इक्वल डिस्टेंस पे 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. दैट मीन्स द आर एमर्जेंट वेव फ्रंट इज स्फेरिकल इन शेप. ओके, सो आई थिंक यू हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट जैसे ही हमने एक प्लेन वेव फ्रंट इंसिडेंट कराया कॉन्वेक्स लेंस पर, तो प्लेन वेव फ्रंट इंसिडेंट कराया, उससे 3 रेज ली, इंसिडेंट रेज, वो कन्वर्ज हुई, कन्वर्ज होके यहाँ आ गई. इसका मीनिंग ये तीनों रेस एक ही पॉइंट से आ रही है. सो अगर किसी रेस का सोर्स पॉइंट सोर्स हो तो उससे निकलने वाला जो वेव फ्रंट होता है वो स्फेरिकल होता है. सो दैट मीन्स द आंसर इज दैट एमर्जेंट वेव फ्रंट इज स्फेरिकल नाउ. Wave front is spherical now. This is our emergent wave front, this red color one. Now we will try it for concave lens and other 2 mirrors. In the next sheet, draw this diagram. For concave lens, what will be the behavior of concave lens for the plane wave front, incident plane wave front? This is our incident plane wave front. Second step are rays, first ray, second ray and third ray. Now what is the nature of concave lens? It is converging or diverging. So we know that it is a diverging lens, this way. Okay, so rays are diverging, so they appear to come from some point. We already know this thing, that for concave lens the rays which are diverging, they appear to come from some point that is called focus. So what is here, we are getting these rays which are diverging. So what should be the shape of the emergent wave front? So again, because the source of all these rays is a point, so for a point the wave front is always a spherical wave front. Okay, so this is spherical wave front. This is our answer. Wave front is spherical again. Now let us try for mirrors. Okay, so our fourth heading is mirror. Let us first take concave mirror. So this is our concave mirror. Concave mirror means inner surface is reflecting, outer surface is non-reflecting. So non-reflecting surface we always have to shade. So inner surface is reflecting. So जो reflecting surface होती है उसके सामने हम रखते हैं हमारे ऑब्जेक्ट को. तो हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है? प्लेन वेव फ्रंट. अब क्या करेंगे? 3 रेज बनाएंगे. अब कॉन्केव मिरर कैसा होता है? कन्वर्जिंग मिरर. ओके, सो ये सारी रेस इधर जाती हैं, उसके बाद में रिफ्लेक्ट होके बैक आती हैं, तो ये कन्वर्ज होती हैं. सो कॉन्केव मिरर में रेस कन्वर्ज होती है. कन्वर्ज हो गई रेस, तो हमारी आउटपुट रेस है ये 1 2 3. अब इन सब ये भी अपीयर हो रही है पॉइंट से आते हुए. तो जब भी रेस का सोर्स पॉइंट हो तो बनेगा स्फेरिकल वेव फ्रंट. तो हमारा इनपुट था प्लेन वेव फ्रंट और हमारा आउटपुट आया स्फेरिकल वेव फ्रंट. यानी कॉन्केव मिरर क्या करता है? कॉन्केव मिरर प्लेन वेव फ्रंट को स्फेरिकल वेव फ्रंट में कन्वर्ट करता है. ओके, दीज ऑल्सो हैव डन द सेम थिंग, लेंस ऑल्सो, मिरर ऑल्सो. In the same manner, let us try for the convex mirror here. Next is convex mirror. Convex mirror is that mirror in which the outer surface is reflecting, inner surface is non-reflecting. So outer surface is reflecting. इसके सामने हमें हमारा इंसिडेंट वेव फ्रंट रखना है. तो ये हमने रखा हमारा इंसिडेंट वेव फ्रंट, प्लेन वेव फ्रंट. नेक्स्ट स्टेप होती है रेज ड्रॉ करना. फर्स्ट रे, सेकेंड रे, थर्ड रे ड्रॉ करी. अब ये जैसे ही इस कॉन्वेक्स मिरर पे फॉल करेगी, कॉन्वेक्स मिरर पे, ओके, सो कॉन्वेक्स मिरर इज डाइवर्जिंग मिरर. सो ये क्या करता है? रेस को डाइवर्ज करके वापस भेज देता है ऐसे. ओके, तो दैट मीन्स ये रेस कहाँ से आ रही है? दे अपीयर टू कम फ्रॉम सम पॉइंट. दैट पॉइंट इज फोकस. सो बिकॉज अगेन हमारी जो रिफ्लेक्टेड रेस थी उनका सोर्स पॉइंट है, इसलिए वेव फ्रंट कैसा होगा? स्फेरिकल. ओके, सो दिस इज आवर एमर्जेंट वेव फ्रंट. सो इन ऑल दीज केसेस, लेंस एंड मिरर केसेस, our emergent wavefront is spherical. This is the common conclusion. You can note down for all these cases. So this way you have to remember how the prism or lens or mirror behave for a incident plane wavefront. So the conclusion is prism doesn't do any change in the plane wavefront. Plane wavefront will remain plane wavefront, but lens and mirror converts the plane wavefront to spherical wavefront. Okay, so Huygens chapter is completed.